Jay here, Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, we're live. We're in the studio. Do get involved in the chat and the comments. Going to be talking about all the latest Manchester United news. Loads of stories to get through. Before we do get onto Manchester United news, obviously, our thoughts are with everyone affected by the horrific scenes in Liverpool last night. Absolutely tragic, and we hope people are safe. And as I said, everyone at Stretford Paddock wishing everyone the best, really, if you can say that. Just to hope everyone is okay and the people that are injured are getting the help they need. Make sure you're getting involved in the chat and the comments. Going to be talking about this latest United transfer news. There's quite a lot of transfer stories to get through. The big story, obviously, is Liam Delap. Saw it yesterday that United, we've been linked with him, haven't we, for a few weeks now, if not a little bit longer. There was this sort of common knowledge, if you can call it that, or everyone understood that once it was confirmed Ipswich were relegated, the fee was 30 million quid for his buyout clause, which someone just said it in the comments there. Adam Kenny said 30 million is very cheap for a striker. That's a weird thing to say. And I suppose it is, isn't it? 30 million quid is a lot of money. But for a striker who's got Premier League experience and is relatively young, that is kind of cheap, if you can call 30 million quid cheap. So yeah, it does seem that is the price, and everyone knows that. The issue with that is when you've got a striker who has, I think he's got 12 Premier League goals, is it he ended up with, who's, in his early 20s, got 12 Premier League goals. There's going to be more than just Manchester United looking at him. There's going to be more clubs, and it seems that Chelsea are also looking at him. However, we had this story yesterday, you can see it there. This is from, I think, Rob Dawson in ESPN, saying that Manchester United have agreed the framework of a deal for Liam Delap, sources have told ESPN, and are now waiting for the Ipswich Town striker to decide on his next move. United have informed Ipswich that they will meet the 30 million release clause in Delap's contract if he gives the green light for a move to Old Trafford. The outline of personal terms have also been agreed with Delap's representatives, and the transfer could move quickly once the 22-year-old makes a decision on his future. So it looks like everything is sort of in place. The fees agreed, the terms are agreed. It's now up to the striker. Now, there was a time when you'd have gone, well, if you're at Ipswich Town and Manchester United come calling, it's an absolute no-brainer. You go to Manchester United. However, let's be honest, Chelsea have Champions League football, Manchester United don't. He may want to live in London. There's nothing you can do about it if someone wants to live in London. They would rather go there. He may look at Chelsea as a better option, as a team that is challenging near the top end of the table. He may look at it as well and go, look, I am going to get minutes at Chelsea, just like I would at United. There was a time when I felt maybe that could sway him towards United, because potentially Nicholas Jackson could be in his way of getting in that first team. I'm not so sure now. There's a good chance that if Liam Delap goes to Chelsea, he'll be starting. So you can say the same about Manchester United, but that doesn't give us as an advantage. If it's like, well, you're going to be starting for United, but you'd also be starting for Chelsea if you went there. Get involved in the chat in the comments and let me know what you think about this Liam Delap move. And let me know where you think he's going to come. Loads of people in the chat in the comments. Good to see the usual suspects in there. Al Williams, Glenn F, Heaven Soul, Colin Coupleditch, Santa Notch, Andy G, Kevin Aitchen, Ollie Black. Ride says, Delap not good enough. Awful idea. He's not having it. Okay, if you don't like Delap, I want to know who you think we should be going for. We need a striker. We all know that. Let's not kid ourselves. I don't think anyone is under the misconception that Manchester United don't need another striker. If you're not into the Delap idea, if you don't think that would be the right transfer to make, then please let me know who you do think we should go for. I'm all ears, I am, because looking at who's available, there's not a lot of strikers out there that I think Manchester United could go and get. I'm not saying there isn't any, but I want to know what you think. Stephen Owen, he disagrees. He says Delap will be decent for us. Leaf says Liam will give us 12 goals in his first season plus 5 assists, but what he will contribute is that we will play 11 against 11, not like with Højlund where we play with 10 men. Mateta instead of Delap as a safer bet, says Jules Solskjaer. Do you like Mateta? Is he the one that you think you would have? Akbar Mia says, I would take Watkins. Glenn F says, Jonathan David on a free. I like the idea of Jonathan David on a free because he's free. I think there's that could be a good move. Will he come to Manchester United? Will his wages be something that we can match? We'll have to wait and see. Not match what he's on at Lille, but what he would expect. Because free transfers, you're going to want big money, aren't you, for wages? Let me know what you think. Hit that like button as well, please, people. CTB says, if he's a good system player, I'm happy. Look at Dorgu. Not the best individual, but fits our system nicely. Akash K says, morning Jay, I prefer Mbeumo, but 55 million for a player with a year left is just appalling. Let's talk about, in fact, just before we get on to Mbeumo, I want to go back to that story because I think there's a little bit about Eberechi Eze as well. If you scroll down, I think there is somewhere there, if I can find it. It's, is it there? Where is it? There it is. Thank you. So United are also interested in Brentford's Bryan Mbeumo and Crystal Palace's Eberechi Eze. Now, Eze obviously flying at Crystal Palace, doing really well, got him the winning goal in the FA Cup final. Everyone's loving him. Very, very talented player. Could he end up at Manchester United? Is that a deal that is doable? I think it's doable. Will it happen? I'm not sure. 16 goal involvements in the Premier League last season, which cannot be ignored. He's a little bit older than I think a lot of people think, because I always think he looks quite young. He's 26. He's not past it by any stretch of the imagination, but he's sort of getting towards his prime years. How much would he cost? That is the big question. I mean, I think he could do a job at Manchester United. Crystal Palace wouldn't let him go on the cheap. Obviously, we've had dealings with Crystal Palace in the past where we brought in Aaron Wan-Bissaka, for example. What was he, 50 million quid? So I think for someone like Eze, who has got England caps as well, he's got quite a few England caps. I think he's got 10 England caps. So I think you're looking at 60 million plus for someone like Eze. Would that happen? Do you want that to happen? Let me know what you think. Philip Taby says, Eze is injury prone. Just looking at his numbers, he played a lot of football this season, 43 games in all competitions this season, including 34 in the Premier League. Very good numbers indeed. Last season, not quite as good, 31 in all competitions. Season before, 40. The season before that was when he had a lot of injury issues, I think, and he ended up with, I think, about 17 appearances across the board. So, slight injury concerns. I won't call him injury prone, but I get the concerns there. I don't think this one is happening. I'll be honest with you. I think the Mbeumo one seems a little bit more likely. We've got an update here on that as well from get me words out, Fabrizio Romano. This is from Give Me Sport, but they're quoting Fabrizio Romano. It says, Manchester United are showing interest in Brentford forward Bryan Mbeumo ahead of the summer transfer window, Fabrizio Romano has revealed. We spoke about this yesterday on the Paddock podcast. I think it's around 50 million quid is the price being mooted for Bryan Mbeumo. Very, very good player, very talented, gets goals, gets assists, has done well at Brentford. I mentioned this last night on the Paddock podcast. When Antony got suspended, Bryan Mbeumo was the one that kind of stepped up there, and he's carried on stepping up. He's carried on being a part of a, pretty successful Brentford team when you look at the resources they've got and where they end up as well. So you can see the quote here from Romano. It says, I can also confirm that United appreciate Bryan Mbeumo at Brentford. Well, that's not the right word. That's a great start. A player who did fantastic with 20 goals this season in the Premier League. Top player, really big mentality, also fits what they want to do in the strategy at United. So players who can be for the future, but also ready to make an impact or an instant impact to help Amorim for the new season. Cunha is like that, Premier League proven, European experience, international player with Brazil, who knows how to handle pressure and knows how to add numbers. Just move the thing out of the way. Sorry, I can't quite see just the list. I've got the list there. Move that over. Yeah, sorry. Cunha, keep going. Keep scrolling up. Sorry, keep scrolling up. Keep So that's what's going to be really important. And then there is Bryan Mbeumo, because he's a player they appreciate. As I told you here on the channel, Man United wants to add one more player behind the striker. So, look, it makes sense. It makes sense, doesn't it, for Bryan Mbeumo to come to Manchester United. He's a player that would fit into this system. He's a very talented player. Also, the likes of him and Cunha, maybe Ahmad and maybe one or two others, they can play in those 10 roles. He can maybe even play almost as a false 9 if you want to mix it up a little bit. Playing either the right or the left of those two false 10s, or two false 10s, those two number 10s. So it all makes sense. Whether it happens, we'll have to wait and see. A lot will depend on how much money we have got to spend as well. You'd think Manchester United have got more than just the money for Cunha, the money for Delap. You'd think we've had a little bit more. Let me know what you think. Ain Moore says, Mateta good. Hugh Grant says, wouldn't mind him, just not sure about depth. Is that depth? Steve Owen says, not for 50 million though, Jay. I think you're going to have to pay that, I think you are. I know he's only got like a year left, but then you get into this bidding war, don't you, as well, like where people go, well, we'll have him. And I think there'll be a lot of people that'll be interested in him. I really do. Ollie Black says, I rate how well he holds the ball in the final third. Mike Sutton says, watching you lot scramble around for bottom of the table players is hilarious. I don't know who Mike Sutton supports. Well, listen, bottom of the table players, like Roy Keane was a player that got relegated and he turned out all right. You've had players like Dennis Irwin came from where Oldham. These are two of the best players United have ever had. So just because you're getting players from the bottom end of the league doesn't mean they're not good players. Edwin van der Sar was at Fulham. Like, you can get quality from the bottom end of the table or the bottom half of the table or whatever. Doesn't mean that you can just dismiss that. And I think United need to be honest about where we're at. We're not going to go and buy a striker or haven't got any strikers, an attacker from Arsenal. I believe with Robbie Van Persie. It's not going to happen, is it? We are going to have to look elsewhere. We're not going to go out and buy Spurs' best player like we did with Dimitar Berbatov. We know that. We understand that. And we have to cut our cloth accordingly. But I do think there is a very, very talented group of players we can get from perhaps the bottom out of the table. I don't think we should be too snooty about it. Amorim's in Malaysia, I believe, on the tour. He says here, Ruben Amorim, I think there's some quotes here, believes Manchester United Academy was crucial to the club's past and it can be just as essential to our future as well. The Reds head coach held a press conference in Malaysia ahead of Wednesday's friendly. I think if we scroll up, we'll have some quotes from him, what he says. There you go. We always prepare 2 plans, he said, with and without the Champions League. Without the Champions League, we also don't need a big squad. We can control the squad in a better way. Then we have a plan. That is to bring in some new players. But our big plan is to improve the team. We have to improve the academy. It was the past, so it can be the future. It can't change much because of financial fair play. We are not allowed to do much, even with the Champions League. So we are prepared. It's important to stick together. We are going to struggle. It's not going to be everything right away, but I can see the team improving. That's the most important thing. Yeah, listen, he always says the right things, Ruben Amorim. I was impressed with his speech at the end of the game after the Aston Villa game. We'll have to wait and see whether he delivers. I think he will. I'm confident that Ruben Amorim is the right guy, but we know going into next season we have to see an improvement in results because all the words in the world aren't going to help him if we're not getting, points and wins and stuff like that. But I think we will. I have faith in Ruben Amorim and I understand where he's coming from when it comes to the squad. Let me know what you think. Get involved in the chat and the comments as well. I want to know what you guys think. Mr. Bean says it's kind of risky to have a thin squad. What if first team injuries happen again? You have to get it right. You have to have a balance. Now, the problem you've got now, you haven't got European football. You're going to be playing a minimum of 40 games, right? You're at least playing 40 games. Most weeks you'll be playing 1 game a week, right? Now, if you've got a squad where you've got 30 players or whatever it is, a lot of those players aren't going to be getting any minutes. It's going to be more difficult to balance that. So having a squad that's sort of a little bit smaller might be a positive thing. It might make sense. If you've got a sort of squad of, say, 16, 17 players who are in and around the first team, then maybe supplement it with some of the youngsters as well. The likes of Ari Amas, the likes of maybe someone like Jack Morehouse or someone like that comes into the first team picture. Maybe, we see a little bit more of Cheeto. Then that can make sense to me because you've got to keep a lot of players happy as well. And it's no good having players that just aren't getting minutes that are disgruntled because that becomes counterproductive. Let me know what you think. Let's talk about Alejandro Garnacho and Marcus Rashford. This was, I think James Ducker was talking about this yesterday. We tweeted about it yesterday afternoon. Alejandro Garnacho and Marcus Rashford are expected to be amongst United's most high-profile departures this summer, valued by the club at 60 million and 40 million respectively. Napoli are among those interested in Garnacho, with Barcelona interested in Rashford. It feels like Rashford has really been after this Barcelona move for a little while now, and there might be something there. We've had Ducker on the channel, he does do his homework. There might be something where Barcelona are looking at Marcus Rashford and think, look, there's a player there, we want him, we can get him. 40 million quid for a player that's got the history of Marcus Rashford. It's not that bad, to be honest with you. That's decent business for a club that are looking to buy him. I know he's had a few issues of late, especially with Ruben Amorim, but I think £40 million for a player that's got well over 100 goals in his career, I think it's probably worth it for them. Whether it's going to be Barcelona or anyone else, we'll have to wait and see. Alejandro Garnacho, he's been linked with Napoli. I think he was linked with them in January. Didn't end up going, obviously. It stayed. It does seem just like Rashford is now. The door is kind of closing on his Manchester United career. I do not see a way forward with him and Ruben Amorim. After the interview he gave post-Europa League final, it feels like he's done. So I think it's probably for the best if both Alejandro Garnacho and Marcus Rashford did move on from Manchester United. It is sad to me. I'm not going to lie to you. I am a bit gutted. I had high hopes for both of them. There was a time when Marcus Rashford, when he burst onto the scene, we absolutely loved him. Remember the goals against Arsenal, the goals on his debut against Midtjylland, the goal at the Etihad to win the game there. Then even further down the line, multiple seasons where he scored 20-plus goals, plus the 30-goal season under Erik ten Hag. It felt like Marcus Rashford was going to kick on there. And I'll be honest with you, what he did off the pitch as well impressed me during COVID and feeding all those kids. However, it has become untenable. He hasn't quite been the same player for us, Marcus Rashford, since Ruben Amorim came in, and then he fell out with the manager, not doing what the manager wanted. You have to back the manager, and it's time for Marcus Rashford to move on. It remains to be seen where he's going to go. Alejandro Garnacho, slightly different. Him, like Marcus Rashford, he was dropped for the derby. He responded in a positive way, though, pulled his socks up, got himself back into the team, became a useful player for Ruben Amorim. I know it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, but he did do quite a decent job for us. However, getting the 20 minutes in the Europa League final obviously rattled him, and when he comes out and complains about it in the way he did, I think it's time to move on. I don't see a way back for Alejandro Garnacho, and I think if you can get 60 million quid for him, that's decent business. And this is a player that, again, like Marcus, when he came onto the scene, you remember the winning goal against Fulham, remember the cameo in the derby at Old Trafford where he helps us get the win. It's sad to see these youngsters or these players through the academy not quite fulfilling what we hoped they would at Manchester United, but if you can get decent money for him, then it all makes sense. Luke Niblock says, Jay, are there any links to a midfielder? We desperately need someone to control the tempo. Me and Harvey from social media was talking about that earlier. We've not really been linked with anyone, have we, midfield-wise? A little link with Edison from Arcelanta, but nothing that makes me think that's on the horizon. I look at someone like Adam Wharton, for example. I think I'd love to see him at Old Trafford, but that seems to be more just fans talking about United should go for him rather than actually being linked with him. So yeah, it has gone a little bit quiet on the midfielder front, and that surprised me. You look at the age of Casemiro, can he do a job in the Premier League? I'm not so sure. You look at a slight question mark about Manuel Aguirre, obviously didn't get any minutes in the Europa League final. Does Ruben Amorim still rate him? I don't know. I don't want to get too carried away. How does Kobbie Mainoo fit in this? What's the future hold for Toby Collier? I'm not sure what happens with Manchester United's midfield. Antony gave an emotional interview for TNT. We quoted it here. I think Nathan Salt had it as well. That's where we got it from. And he spoke about not having the strength to even play with my son, going days without eating, staying locked in my room. That was what he was talking about, his time at Manchester United. I mean, it sounds like obviously horrible, doesn't it, to be honest with you? It sounds like a nightmare. He's obviously done really well at Real Betis. He's another one that could be out of the door. And I think, to be honest with you, no matter how well he plays at Real Betis, we have to acknowledge we ain't going to see that player if he comes back to United. He wasn't enjoying his time at United. And I think we have to be honest about that, because you watch him for Real Betis and you think, we need him, get him back in the United team. But he's saying it himself, he wasn't enjoying his time at United. I don't think we can expect to see that same player back at Manchester United. So I think it's best, for slightly different reasons than with Garnacho and Marcus Rashford, I think it's best if Antony moves on, and hopefully with his performances for Real Betis, he'll have put himself right in the shop window. I don't know if they're going to try and buy him on a permanent. You'd expect them to, or if not, other clubs are looking at him because he has pretty much tore it up there. Ant Ellen Super Chat says, sell Garner, Kobbie, Mount and Bruno in my opinion for a start. Don't like the idea of selling Kobbie Mainoo. I think that's a bad idea personally. Kevin Aitchen says, we didn't enjoy your time at United either. Happy he's doing well, though, and adding to his value. I think that's a fair assessment of Antony. I don't think we can we need to rewrite history and pretend that it was amazing at United. Had a decent start, didn't he? Was it 3 or 4 goals in his first few games? Then he had a few up and downs, but, I think it's best that he does move on. Dan United 94 says, Jay, have you adopted Kobbie yet? Give it time. You never know. Let's talk a little bit about Matheus Cunha's shirt number. Apparently, he's going to be getting the number 10 shirt. I think we've got a story here from, I think it's Chris Wheeler, who was talking about this. Chris Wheeler, there you go, was saying that basically Matheus Cunha is going to have the number 10 shirt at Manchester United, which obviously is Marcus Rashford's shirt at the minute. But if Marcus Rashford is leaving Manchester United, then that shirt number will come available. There's not really, like, the number 10 shirt at Manchester United is obviously a good thing to have the number 10 shirt, but it's not like as iconic as the number 7 shirt. So I don't really feel like it's one of those where it's like, oh, wow, he's getting the number 10 shirt. It just makes a lot of sense. It says it there. He currently belongs to Marcus Rashford, who is set to leave Old Trafford after a loan spell at Aston Villa. Also in this, there was a little bit, I think, further down about Bruno Fernandes and the Saudi links. There you go. Yeah, Bruno Fernandes is still considering an offer from Saudi club Al Hilal worth 200 million over 3 years. United are desperate not to lose their captain, but would find it hard to reject a bid in the region of 100 million. We'll have to wait and see what happens with the Bruno Fernandes front. I don't want to see him go. I get the money, and I get the idea you can rebuild with the money. I just worry. I worry what would happen if we lost Bruno Fernandes and didn't spend that money wisely. And I'm not quite on this bus that United will 100% reinvest that 100 million and make the squad much, much better. I think the jury's still a little bit out with Ineos. We've had some good signings on their watch. We've had some ones that I think we'll have to wait and see whether it's going to work out. I do worry, because I think Bruno Fernandes, he guarantees you a certain level of performance, a certain amount of goals, a certain amount of assists. That's not always guaranteed when you make signings as well. We've seen that in the past where we've wasted money. And it'd hurt me to see Bruno Fernandes leave, to be honest with you. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you to everyone who got involved in the chat and the comments. Going to be back later on today. We're going to be hearing from Stephen Howson. Also, Finn Academy Scoop is going to be on the channel. We're going to be doing an end-of-season Academy review. So make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. I've been Jay Moyer. This has been The Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.